Okay, I think something was missing from this lineup. We had DS games and the Game Boy line, the Game Boy Micro. What were we missing? Wait. Oh, what? Wait, what's this? What are you? You're the Virtual Boy. The Nintendo Virtual Boy. 32 bits of, somewhat portable, not really handheld, power. You strapped to people's face and you gave them a 3D experience which people now go to theaters and pay $10 for via, Real D. But yeah, Real D wasn't in red and black only for cost issues. Oh, poor Virtual Boy, you were a bit misunderstood. The Virtual Boy used 6 AA batteries, kind of a battery hog. Kind of up there with, say, the Atari Lynx or so, when it comes to battery hogging. It was put together by Gunpei Yokoi, who brought us the N64, the original Game Boy. In fact, most of the stuff that Nintendo's been doing is all based on his designs, from dual screen portables to well, after he left, he worked for Bandai, and this was the last system he technically designed while still alive. This was the Wonder Swan Crystal. Smaller version of the Wonder Swan. The Wonder Swan's gimmick is that you could turn it on its side for shooters or other things and use these buttons. It had buttons up here, which is kind of, I think that's a neat idea. A lot of some bad ideas it had. This little bump for the battery. Nintendo ended up using that bump anyways, like the Game Boy Light, the Game Boy Color, and the Game Boy Advance. Thankfully, we've abandoned the bump. See? No battery bump. Thank goodness. Anyways, this one here also had only 3 volume things, a screen that was nigh impossible to see outside of direct light, built-in speaker, and no real cable for headphones. I think there was something you could plug into the extension port, but pretty much, yeah, it was kind of anti-headphone, kind of like the Advance SPs. But yeah, that was the Wonder Swan. But we're not talking about the Wonder Swan. We're talking about the Virtual Boy. Virtual Boy came with Mario Tennis, which was a 3D game. That was a thing. Virtual Boy had knobs on the top. This is actually a cartridge cover, because there's a cartridge in it right now. And that's where you put the cartridge cover when you weren't using it. It had knobs for fine-tuning this. This is like a focus knob, and this one here allowed you to turn the angles of the 2 little mirrors and screens that were in there. They had these little tiny 1-inch screens that shot red, and the idea was you could go ahead and fix those so that when you're seeing 2 different images, two of the same image at a different, slightly different angle. That's how the 3D worked. It was stereographic. You've got select, start, BA, 2 D-pads, a L trigger and R trigger, gun grip handles, which are kind of nice, a stand, little rubber knobs on the side for some reason. I think that was for the strap. The idea was you could like remove those eventually and you could put a strap on there. It would just kind of lock on. They wanted you to strap this to your face. That's why it had that's why it undocked from the little cradle that it was in. See? Now the Virtual Boy itself, on the bottom here, this is where you connected the system plugged in right there. Then you had a little port right up around, a little port right here for an extension cable for connecting to other systems. Your volume and your headphone jack were right there, as well as warnings. See, there we go, that's a better angle of that. And this was the system. Oh, Virtual Boy, we hardly knew ya. And of course, this is the stand. Let's pop this puppy back on there for a moment. Come on, let's slide back in there. Good old Virtual Boy. Oh, stubborn little thing. Hold on. There we go. Let's slide you on there. You snap back in. Volume's on this. Let's slide that through there. System's only black and red. Has 2 little eyes. Every game that's played for it start out with a little warning. We don't want you to go blind. Which honestly, if you're more likely to go blind from playing World of Warcraft all the time in the dark, or playing your large screen TV and sitting too close to it. than you were from this. A lot of the problems with eyes were, well, let's just say that there was a parental rights group owned by Sony that went out and had a doctor, a professional doctor, tell you that, yeah, Virtual Boy make you go blind. But yeah, it had that warning. This is the little thing where you would go ahead and there were there were 4 dots. Since I'm actually doing both I can't really film both screens at once. One screen had the other 2 and this one had that. There we go. Well, yeah, you can kind of see it. We went through that, then it had an autosave, an auto alarm. Every 15 minutes it'd tell you, hey, take a break. But yeah, oh, by the way, the Virtual Boy's kind of loud. It had really kind of loud speakers. This is Wario Land. A little bit of Wario Land. First things first, we're going to turn up the brightness on that. That's the alarm thing. You use the D-pad left, select start B and A. Now, this is the one where I've got save file going. The idea is that you can, you can go past those. The big gimmick with Wario Land was that, stuff would go in and out of the background and such, and Wario could go in and out of the background. He had most of his moves from, other games like his charge, different power-ups, and yeah. Oh, oops, we got hit. We became Little Wario. We might totally die. Stuff is gonna kill us. Oh God, run away! Okay. Yeah. But yeah, that was Wario Land. This is actually in the hard mode. I had a complete file, but then like, you save after a thing and it lets you, after you beat it, you can save and start in the hard version of it. But yeah, that was Wario Land, just a little bit of it. The problem with the Virtual Boy is it was a bit expensive. People say a PSP Go is kind of expensive at $250. Would you pay $250 for this? Would you pay $200 for this? Especially when at the time you had the Game Boy, and the Game Boy and the Game Boy Pocket or so was just about to come out, but the Game Boy was like $99 at the time. 32 hours of battery life. Nintendo was their worst competition in this deal. They were hoping the Virtual Boy would take off, because imagine what would have happened with the Virtual Boy if it had taken off like, say, the Nintendo DS, which people kept saying was going to be Nintendo's next Virtual Boy. It's got 2 screens, just like the Virtual Boy. It's trying something different. Ooh, one's a touchscreen. Nobody's going to want that. Yeah, the internet knows everything, don't they? Imagine what would happen if something as clunky as the Virtual Boy had actually taken off. We would have gotten a Virtual Boy Lite, then maybe a Virtual Boy Eye, which had, instead of red and black, had different colors. Could you imagine where we'd be right now if this technology had taken off? We'd have little visors from Nintendo where you pop in a cartridge or something, and that would be kind of cool. Unfortunately, we'll never know because Virtual Boy doesn't really get that much respect. It didn't really afford that much respect with its creepy commercials where it chased people down with its tendril-like controllers and then latched onto their faces. Yeah, it's really appealing, Nintendo, thanks. I don't want to think about alien face huggers when I'm playing a video game. Like, blah! It's going to propagate its babies in you. Oh, Virtual Boy. You, Virtual Boy, the original Virtual Boy. I will not dub you Milo, but you were the original Virtual Boy, and you were a thing. A thing! And you actually had some pretty decent little games. I mean, Mario Tennis was okay. Would have been better 2-player, but Wario Land is excellent. And I hope someday someone remakes that game for the DS iWare. But yeah, Virtual Boy, you were a thing, and we salute your evilness. Evil, look into its vacant soul.